Okay, this is my 2014 Honda Valkyrie. I got this from my brother. He passed away a few years ago, and it ran just fine. I drove it from California all the way to Colorado, and it set for a while. He really didn't do any maintenance on it, and so this one has a hydraulic clutch, like a lot of motorcycles, and people don't realize that hydraulic clutch and with the brakes and stuff, you actually have to flush those lines. They recommend every 2 years. So the bike ran fine for a while, and I was gone and I came back, decided to ride it, but then the clutch didn't work. I knew the clutch was fine, so I suspected that the clutch fluid, brake fluid basically, was bad. And so I actually opened up the reservoir here and I tested this with a tester. Of course, it tested red, so it was bad. What I needed to do versus take it to the shop is actually flush the fluid. And I couldn't find any videos on this particular bike. I saw some older Valkyries and Gold Wings, and they're kind of the same, but nothing specific on this bike. So anyhow, just to help some people along, it's not that hard to do. First thing you have to do is take off this cowling, and there was a couple screws just to cover here, and a couple at the top, and pull that off. And underneath it, there was a little canister down here. So I think it's one of these smog things. You just have to basically disconnect that and pull that down. And the bleeder valve is actually right. It's right there. All right. In order to get to it, though, you got to take off this bracket that kind of blocks it to bleed it. And in order to do that, you got to take off the horn too. So a couple things you got to take off, and this thing's connected to the bracket. You got to take that off as well. And then what I did basically is I hooked up my pneumatic bleeder here to an air compressor, and I was up at the top filling up the reservoir, and I opened up the pneumatic bleeder and just hooked this to the bleeder valve and opened up slowly. As it was sucking the brake fluid through the line, I just kept adding fluid up there, kept an eye on it so it didn't suck air in the line. And as I made sure that there was clean fluid all the way through here, I just kept running .4 brake fluid through it. So I felt that it flushed the line completely. I went ahead and turned off this thing, turned off the valve so it stopped sucking fluid through it, and then went back up in here and closed the bleeder. And then I just went ahead and put the top back on the reservoir and clicked it a few times, and guess what? I got a great working clutch. So it probably took me less than an hour to do, and probably saved me, $200-300 at Honda to have that done. So I already had the brake fluid, so it didn't cost me anything to do this. But I thought I would share this with people on YouTube because there was nothing out there on it. So make sure you change your fluids at least every 2 years, brake fluid and stuff. It's the same stuff. Just flush your lines and stuff. You don't have any problems. But like I said, your brakes will work. They'll be a little spongy. But when my clutch quit working, I was dead in the water. I am a Harley guy, so this is the first time I worked on a Honda. It's a little more complex. But I'm happy with it. However, I will probably sell it now and buy me another Harley and bring my total back up to 5. All right, peace out. Hope this helped. Thanks.